So the other area that you might want to think about is, does the system not only allow you to automate the heating, but does it also have like automation or some smarts for the water as well? You might be thinking, well, why do I need to bother with that? The time when I think I find it useful is when actually I go for a run, and there's 2 days out of the week. Not so much now at the minute, but there used to be 2 days out of the week when I used to go running. And so I would have the water heat up so that when I came back, I could have a nice warm shower. So have a think about whether you just need something to do the heating, or actually automating the water. Would that also be useful for you as well? So one of the other things you might want to think about is, how does it use your location to adjust the heating? And there's 3 ways in which I've normally seen this used. So one of them is it'll learn your pattern, if there is one, of when you're in or out of the house, and then start to formulate some smarts around how it thinks it should switch the heating on and off. That's good in the sense that you kind of need to do nothing. It's just going to learn it in the background. Like anything, there's going to be sometimes when it's going to get it wrong. So it's probably good if you have a predictable schedule. If your schedule is pretty unpredictable, probably not something that you want to kind of use as your base for having the heating come on and off. The second one is to get the system to prompt you. So I don't know if it's changed, but Hive, when you used to leave home, because it knew of your location or your current location, it would say, right, you've left home, do you want to switch the heating off? Now, that's pretty good, but actually I kind of got to the point where I realised I didn't really want to use a prompt. I just wanted it to automatically do it. And that's where number 3 comes in. So number 3 is to automatically switch on and off. And so Tado in this instance, for me, actually has the ability to, as you move further and further away from the home, once you get to a certain distance, it's going to automatically switch off. And then as you start to come back closer to home, it's going to switch on. So certainly have a think about, what do you want to do around it automatically switching on and off the heating. One area you might want to consider is actually, can the system tell what the weather is like outside and adjust the heating accordingly? So if it's a nice sunny day, you probably don't need the heating to come on as high right at the start to try and heat up the house, because it's naturally going to be warm, and actually the sun throughout the day is going to heat up your house as well. However, on a cold kind of winter's morning, it's probably going to, the heating is going to need to come on full power in order to get it up to the correct heat in time. So I recommend having a look to see if the heating system takes into account weather and how it's going to adjust the amount of energy it's going to put in to heat the house based on the weather outside. So it goes without saying, one of the things you need to check is to see if it's got IFTTT or if this then that .com integration. The reason why you might want to check to see whether it's got IFTTT integration is because you want to automate some of the tasks that aren't possible from within the app itself. There's going to be a number of reasons why you want to do that, but I'll give you one that's kind of close to my heart. So what used to happen was, when my son was very little, he'd go up to the TRV, he'd see like the little flashing light on it, and he'd feel compelled to turn it up or turn it down. Usually he'd kind of turn it up to about 25 degrees. Now the problem this has is that actually I'd come down later in the day or an hour later, and I'd noticed it was really, really, really hot in the kitchen because he'd turned it up to 25 and it was pumping out a lot of heat. So the way to solve this is, I had an IFTTT recipe called Toddler Reset. And so basically what would happen is, every time my house or the heating system was set to away, i.e. I'd left the house, it would go up to that particular TRV and set it back to auto mode off of manual that was probably set to about 25 degrees. And so look to see whether your heating system that you're looking at, your smart heating system, has some form of IFTTT integration, for the simple fact that you could either integrate into the system and perform actions based on other stuff, or perhaps just take the temperature of a room from the TRV and then perform actions on other areas like opening a window.